Okay, we've handed out the handout for
Ladies, y'all want to, you just see one right in there, since you don't have your back to the board.
There's a couple handouts.
One person lower, I think we can put one more in here.
You can get one right there, you can sit right in there, right in there.
Anybody else didn't get a handout that would like one?
Baxter, I think you can get over here. If you want to get here, I believe we got room for you. Okay.
Okay. We talked the last meeting about this storm coming, and basically there's not a lot of difference between the budget hearing this time and what we had originally. We have made some modifications and I'll point those out. But as we speak, I hadn't heard of any news that is worse than what we talked about to begin with. So I reckon from that standpoint, you know, that's good. You know, things hadn't got any worse. So, Ron, let's go on to the next thing. This allocation report that we discussed at the last hearing, you know, we pointed out that you can look and see that we lost the 6 units, and we pointed out the last time about the OCE. You know, all that's the same as it was the last time. Let's go to the next slide. And we also indicated that from 2010 to 2009 that we lost, you know, $2,188,000 in state funds. None of that's changed. That's all just like we said at the last budget meeting. Now we start making a few changes. Let me tell you what we've done. I'm just going to summarize, then we'll go in here and point out some things. What we have done that's different from this hearing, the information you saw, and the last information you saw, the board at the last meeting opted to use the 0.25 at each student, cost center that is, which added 1.75 units, and those are going to be paid out of our federal stimulus money. Those changes have been made. It's actually a 3-part change. We picked up into the stimulus monies, picked those salaries up. We, at that point in time, went back to foundation program, shifted from general fund over into foundation. So it was a 3-step approach, moving expenditures back within those 2 funds to take care of that 1.75 additional units. That's all reflected in the $1,000,087 ending fund balance in there. Special revenue funds, if you have the same PowerPoint presentation from last time, a little bit of difference there. There's about $800 difference there. There was 2 schools that had some bad numbers. Once we uploaded this to the state, 2 numbers picked out, and it was 2 revenue numbers, $400 a piece, and we just took those revenue numbers off so it was uploaded to the state properly. Didn't significantly change that activity whatsoever. The next thing in the special revenue funds, which the ending balance won't be reflected there, but we didn't have the allocation from rural schools in there when we did our first one. We've now got that allocation and had it included in there, and it's reflected in expenditures. We'll show you that in that P1 in just a second. Also, one other thing I didn't add a while ago, once we put the rural schools in, it created some indirect costs. So $900 worth of indirect costs was added into the general fund on that. We've also been notified, but I don't know that we've received, I haven't talked to either one of you, the Title I allocation has changed. She found that out at the meeting the other day, but we have not got a new allocation. We're going to go ahead and submit the budget as it is. We'll go through a series of edit checks from the State Department and their accountants, and we will make that adjustment during those edit check procedures. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go on to the next slide, and we're going to show you basically the main changes that we made and where they were. In our general fund, the last budget hearing, we showed our ending general fund balance to be $870,049. This $1 million looks a whole lot better than $870, but it's still, if we remember, our our 1 month operation expenditures require us to have $2 million on hand. So right now, we're $1 million shy of having 1 month of reserve at the end of September of next year. And as Ms. Clayton, I was talking a while ago, you know, all of this has no proration built in. And, you know, with proration, those things are going to change. We'll show you what changes will be reflective of in just a second. But bottom line, you know, as bad as things are, and I expect proration to come, but as bad as things are, if we could just manage to get by this year without having proration, we still stand a good chance of being able to make a rebound. But if proration actually comes into play, you know, we got a difficult road ahead of us. But, you know, we fell about halfway of where we need to be. So we got to have at least $2 million to have that 1 month operating reserve. As I said, we've added the rural schools. The only other difference in that special revenue is those $800 that I mentioned that was taken out of the revenue. And in capital projects, we've made a couple of changes in capital projects. We hadn't had a chance to talk to Tim about those, but we have a project going on at McIntosh Elementary School right now where we're in the process of having to change the field system down there. There's a lagoon down there, and now they're going to go back to a modified type version of that. And we had budgeted in our capital outlay budget this year like $68,000 for that one and for one at Fruitdale. Well, they finished the one at Fruitdale, but they haven't finished the one down at McIntosh. Matter of fact, I don't think they've started any dirt work on it yet. Okay, so we're going to have to re-budget that expenditure that you had in the original capital outlay budget. So we went back, we've added that. I hope we can get it done up to $50,000. So that ending balance is the same because I rebudgeted in beginning balances and expenditures. So that was a wash there. Just we're not going to be able to have that finished by the end of September. And then the next thing, the incentive grant, that was $375,000 that received on that. That money is not going to be fully expended by September 30th. Right now it's $119,956 left, so we rebudgeted it as our beginning balance. Expenditure will be made in the 09-010 year, so that it will be completely exhausted before then. Those are the changes as far as our fund balance is concerned regarding the thing from the first budget. Now, we spoke the other day about, you know, what effect proration would have, and I actually told you these revised figures because I had predetermined. But now we're going back and said if we wind up now with no proration between these two funds, if we have no proration, we won't be able to use this capital outlay project to help us. Okay, but the CNC is we're going to have some. And if it's at least 3%, then we can flex this capital project money. So with that, you know, we'd have $1,550,000 with 6% proration. We're going to be looking to wind up the year at $464, which is better than what we said originally. Okay, if we have 8% proration, remember this one was like $40-something thousand in the hole. Now we're kind of going to break even. Pocket's got a little money in it. Don't have a whole lot, but yet again, we've had years since I've been here that, you know, when I did our budget, it's something kind of like what we wound up with, and we was due to death. Now that's not the case. We're required to have that 1 month operating expense on that. And then if we have an 11%, which is what we have this year, we're $500,000 in the hole, basically $451. So we will have to make some adjustments in the expenditure side, assuming all our revenues come in as planned. That's another key. To cut $450,000 by the end of September of this year we end right now. That's going to be a tough hill to climb, and it's going. I don't know that we'll be able to do it. You know, but bottom line, we're going to be in a position we're going to cut everything we possibly can. And now the majority of the cuts, you know, we're going to be dealing with those sometime. Can't do with much until May. So, you know, our recovery process will be